Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Anime Sundays, the show where we talk about anime on Sundays. And today we will be breaking down a Anime Sensei tier list. Stay tuned. Okay, yes, as mentioned before, we have a tier list here by Just Might. Again, another popular anime Twitter page. He's been going up lately. So we're going to go ahead and go through another one of his posts, right? Now, we have several categories in the Anime Sensei tier list here. We have the best, great, good, all right, and bad. So I'm going to pretty much go through the characters that are just here. Obviously, we're not going to go through every Anime Sensei. And I'm going to tell you if I agree that each character should stay or should they be moved or what have you. Let's get right into it. Now, in the best category, I'm not too mad at some of these teachers in here, but I do think that at times we often kind of place the accomplishments of the student on the teacher. So for example, we all know that Rayleigh is a great teacher and, you know, what he did for Luffy helped him pretty much and, you know, make really large strides in the One Piece verse because of the knowledge of Rayleigh. But we also know that Luffy is kind of a hockey prodigy. We already know he had Conqueror's hockey off rip, and the way he adapted and learned the hockey over those 2 years, especially to get to that level, to be able to hang with a lot of these Yonkos, you know, this, that, and third, we can speak to a lot of his prodigy skills even more, right? But compared to any other instructor in the One Piece verse, I can see how Rayleigh can get the best category. So I'm not mad at him being there. Same thing with Kisuke. Like, we know what he's done for Ichigo. We know what he's done for other Soul Reapers, people in the verse in general. His genius really can't be questioned. So I wouldn't remove him necessarily. But I will say again, Ichigo does also have a lot of power-ups he was born with, and if you kind of try to accredit that to any of Urahara's teachings, it can be shaky. Now Roshi here, yes, I do believe he should be in this category, but I'm also a little bit torn because at the end of the day, we really only have examples of him and Krillin as students, right? We really only have examples of him and Goku as students. Now we know how far Goku was gonna go anyway in his show, him being a Saiyan, him being just you know, from a warrior race, and him obviously being the chosen one. So yes, Roshi did help get him to maybe like that base form that he really needed to be in, but Goku was gonna be very powerful kind of regardless anyway. On the other hand, if you look at Krillin, yes, Krillin was able to up his ante more than most humans, but compared to the rest of the fighting that we've seen in Dragon Ball Z, and even compared to Roshi's fighting in Super, Krillin still hasn't made, compared to Goku, Krillin really wasn't very much achieved student, right? So I do think Roshi's mastery of martial arts should allow him to be in here, but if you look at his students' accomplishments, you could probably knock him out of that category. And Koro Sensei, well, yes, I mean, his whole goal was kind of just teaching his students, elevating them, literally turning, you know, middle schoolers into actual assassins, and they were trying to kill him. And the fact that they were, you know, getting close almost every time, and I believe even kind of technically accomplished their goal, yeah, I would definitely say he's one of the best senseis in anime for sure. All right, moving on in the great category, we have, you know, Aizawa, Sasuke, Old Girl from Full Metal, My Guy, and Genkai. Aizawa, great is a little bit of a stretch. I do think he is helping to cultivate the young heroes and doing great work for them, but really it's their battle experiences that kind of have them doing so well, especially Deku and Bakugo and them. It's their constant fighting of villains, which I feel like is really making them that nice. I don't know if I could say Aizawa has taught them so much to where they have become such great heroes on their own, right? Especially in that 1 year. So I would probably remove Aizawa from great. Sasuke, I would definitely remove from the great category because Boruto already, again, was a prodigy. He has, you know, son of the fourth Hokage. He was already a greatly skilled ninja, and we know that a lot of his skills henceforth comes from the mark that he got from the Okusuki, right? Comes from him, you know, comes from Momoshiki being inside his body, him learning to control his karma. So we know Boruto was kind of on his way regardless. Now, the Full Metal Alchemist, the Elric brothers, Sensei, she definitely belongs in this category. I mean, she literally cultivated the Elric brothers to being master alchemists damn near when they were only like 14, you know what I'm saying? So yes, they had a lot of prodigious skills. At 7, they were cooking, they were doing crazy stuff, but she really brought them to be able to be full-blown state alchemists like it's nothing, you know what I'm saying? My Guy definitely belongs in this category. Again, I mean, he literally himself being a only taijutsu user, has Rock Lee, you know, probably one of the top 10 ninja in his class, if not top 5. We've seen what Rock Lee was doing as a youngin. I mean, I really don't have to explain how much inspiration my guy has put into Lee. Now, if you want to say what he's done for Neji and Tenten, that's a different story, but I still think he's did well to teach some valuable lessons, even though he was still a little bit more focused on Lee, and I do believe he belongs in this category. And Genkai, I believe she belongs in this category too. Again, brought Yusuke out the gutter as a normal spirit detective, put him through harsh training to get him ready to fight real demons that could really do damage to the planet. Yeah, I mean, her knowledge of spirit, energy, and all that, top tier. So I'm not mad at her being great as well. So the only one out of this list I would probably remove, probably like Aizawa and Sasuke. All right, moving on to the good category. We have Yami, we have Gran Torino, we have Biscuit, we have Bang, we have Reigen, Nami, and Piccolo. Yami, I don't necessarily know if I would put Yami in the good category. Yes, he does, like, you know, regular training with the Black Bulls, inspires them, gives them hope and whatnot, but actually cultivating and training their skills, I mean, I wouldn't say he's done anything specific for anybody in his guild for you to really say that he's a above and all right sensei. I would probably put him in the all right category. We even know that Yami was still kind of doing some training himself in Black Clover with Mare Leona. So if that's the case, I would probably put him in the all right category. Gran Torino, definitely a good sensei, definitely helped Deku, you know, get a little bit more handle on All For One, just one for all, just as he did for All Might. So I would definitely keep him there. Biscuit, I would keep her there as well. She helped Gon and Killua definitely progress a lot further with their Nen. I would say Gran Torino and Biscuit kind of did the same thing. They kind of helped their main characters get to like the basic like level of fighting to where they can kind of hang with a plethora of characters, right? We know that because Gon and Killua got that basic mastery of their Nen, they were able to at least deal with hunters whose abilities were already refined, right? Same thing with Deku with full cowling, like, you know, damaging his limbs every time he fought. Bang, again, I mean, he taught Garo a lot, but again, Garo did move a lot faster because he was seeking his own strength. He always wanted to be that strong, but Bang did have other students, so I'm not mad at him being right there. Reigen is a very tricky subject because Reigen is very inspirational to Mob, especially in that last season, and he was a great mentor to him, but he technically didn't teach Mob really anything about telepathy or telekinesis or espering in general. He just kind of gave him his first, you know, real gigs and kind of just cultivated him as a young person. So it depends on where you want to put Reigen in terms of what he was teaching Mob. Nanami, I mean, Nanami was good to a couple of those other students in JJK for sure, especially that old boy with the ski mask, but to Yuji in general, I mean, I would say again, Yuji's a little more refined in terms of skills because of his battles. So even Nanami, I would probably put in kind of the all right category, especially because he hasn't teaching at Jujutsu Tech for a minute, right? He retired pretty much. So I'd probably put him in the all right category. And Piccolo, definitely a good sensei. You know, he has cultivated Gohan from an early age, you know, bringing him out of the gutter, making him strong enough to be able to at least train on his own to be the new protector of Earth. So yeah, I would keep Piccolo there. Same thing with Goten and Trunks. Like, he trained Goten and Trunks too, taught them how to fuse. So I think he's a good sensei. So out of this list, I would only really remove Yami and maybe Nanami and Reigen, depending on how you rank him. All right, in the all right category, we have All Might, Kakashi, and Benimaru. Now, All Might I agree with. Again, you know, he did put Deku through his normal personal training, but in terms of being at UA, he didn't really do any teaching of Deku in the most part, right? Again, it was kind of like Gran Torino, it was kind of like Aizawa, and it was kind of Deku's experiences that, you know, brought him to the next level, kind of where he was at. Now, he was always a good motivation piece for Deku, but even as he lost his powers, like, Deku was like, I really kind of have no purpose for you, bro. I'm gonna have to kind of rock this out on my own, right? Kakashi, I definitely believe should at least be in the good category, especially if you have like Yami and Nanami there. A lot of people think that like Kakashi didn't do too much for Naruto and them during Team 7, but he actually kind of did a lot by just keeping them alive, right? Because it's a little different here. Their battle experiences is a part of their everyday training. They go on missions to become better ninja. So, you know, getting Sasuke right, you know, sealing his curse mark, trying to cultivate him not to be, you know, so angry all the time and be motivated by revenge because he's, you know, been through the same thing, helping Naruto see that he can, you know, build merit on his own. I think Kakashi's had some valuable lessons there, and he's shown what it looks like to be a good sensei when the going gets tough, right? He's shown them like how to make critical decisions when maybe a battle may be out of their hand. So I don't think Kakashi should be in the all right category. I think he did a good job. Now, of course, you know, when it came to like Jiraiya, Orochimaru, and Tsunade, you can give them a little bit more sauce for really cultivating Team 7 to who they are now, but I think Kakashi still did a good job and should go up. And Benimaru, I definitely think is a good sensei, even though in the anime we've only seen him training Arthur and Shinra for that little bit of time. He has already brought them him, you know, as pyrokinetics up to another level already. And, you know, him being the strongest fire soldier, it's like you have a character with an Adola burst and you're already kind of like bringing the best out of them just from this little bit of training. I think you could probably put him in the good category. I just am not 100% because we haven't seen what he's fully done yet, especially like in the manga. So I'm not mad at that. So I would move him. So I would move him and Kakashi to good and maybe switch like a Yami and Nanami. And in the bad category, lastly, we have Gojo, Jiraiya, Saitama, and Tanjiro's instructor. Gojo, I mean, it's tough with Gojo because Gojo, he doesn't really do no teaching at JJK. Now, I mean, I think he does a little bit of teaching in terms of like very valuable lessons, but for the most part he's a very much show and tell type of teacher. He's like, I'll just show you what needs to be done and y'all will catch on if you can. We have to remember that he did have, you know, Yuta and Maki and Panda, all these other students in his class before Yuji and Nobara and them, and they still turned out pretty well, you know, Jujutsu sorcerers. So to say he's bad, I feel like you could probably move him to the all right, especially what he did for Yuji. He did kind of get him caught up a little bit quicker, but again, we know that Yuji's rapid growth really is to his experiences, but I don't think he would have been as strong as he would have been doing that, you know, rival school competition with, you know, Todo School if he wasn't with Gojo that whole time, right? Jiraiya, now here I might kind of agree a little bit. Yes, Jiraiya did get Naruto kind of a little bit better with his basics, you know, his Rasengan, this, then the third, but he really didn't teach Naruto how to control his chakra, Kurama, or even Sage Mode. You know, Naruto was taught Sage Mode by the Toad Sages. Naruto was taught how to control Kurama by Killer Bee. You know what I'm saying? And then every other basic ninja skills he had, he really kind of got from Kakashi at first, besides maybe like a couple more advanced techniques, you know, walking on water, and obviously the Rasengan, right? That's why Naruto was still kind of at a huge disadvantage in Shippuden when he first saw Sasuke, because he didn't really glow up that much. Is he a bad teacher? Maybe not a bad teacher. I could see him going in the all right category, but I also can see why some people would have him there. Saitama, I mean, I don't even know if Saitama had students. If you're talking about Genos, I mean, there's no amount of robotic skills that's going to get you to that level. So, I mean, I guess you could put him there. And Tanjiro's teacher, is he a bad teacher? Not necessarily. I think his job is just to kind of get Tanjiro to pass the exam, right? That was the main thing. Now, a lot of his students did get murked, so maybe you could say they're bad because, you know, you couldn't keep any of your students really alive that you sent over there. But also, you know, it's demon slaying. Like, you know, it's either you got it or you don't. So I'm not mad at that either. But out of that category, I probably would move Jiraiya and maybe Gojo. All right, y'all. That is my opinion on the Anime Sensei tier list by Just Might. If you have some disagreements or you have some other sensei that you would maybe just add to this list and move around, please feel free to drop them in the comments. And with that, we'll see y'all next Sunday.